Ontario announces three-step approach to lifting health measures. Dan Kearns, local journalism initiative reporter for The Standard. North Durham, Kawartha. The Ontario government has announced a new phased approach to ease health restrictions in the province in the coming months. On January 31st, gathering limits will be increased to 10 people indoors and 25 people outdoors. Restaurants, bars, grocery stores, shopping malls, gyms, cinemas, galleries, and casinos will be able to operate at 50% capacity. Attendance at sporting events will be capped at 500 people. But in all indoor environments, proof of vaccination will still be required to stay in. On February 21st, gathering limits will increase to 25 people indoors and 100 people outdoors again. At that time, capacity limits will be removed for restaurants, indoor sports and recreation facilities, and cinemas. But nightclubs and wedding receptions in meeting or event spaces where there is dancing will have to operate at 25% capacity. But in all indoor environments, proof of vaccination will still be required to stay in. On March 14th, the government will lift capacity limits for all indoor public settings, but proof of vaccination will still be required to stay in. Gathering limits will also be set at 50 people indoors, but there will be no limits for outdoor gatherings. The additional health measures were always intended to be time-limited. They were one more tool to blunt the spread of Omicron and protect our hospitals. The evidence tells us these measures are working, Premier Doug Ford said during a press conference on Thursday, January 20th. Premier Ford cited lower percent positivity rates, slowing hospital admission rates, and a lower amount of time patients spend in hospitals as reasons for optimism. Port Perry Hospital Foundation surpasses their fundraising campaign goal. Dan Kearns, local journalism initiative reporter for The Standard. Scugog. The Port Perry Hospital Foundation has surpassed their fundraising goal to bring a CT scanner to the local hospital. On Monday, January 17th, the Hospital Foundation announced they had reached $4.15 million in donations for the Here For You campaign. The Hospital Foundation had a goal of $4 million for the campaign. The community has done it. Thank you. We now have the funding necessary to bring a CT scanner to Port Perry, Dr. Mark Adams, a Port Perry Hospital Foundation director, said in a statement. We can now look forward to having a CT scanner right here in the hospital, reducing the time from diagnosis to treatment, improving care for our patients every day. In a press release, the Hospital Foundation stated they raised the funding required to purchase a state-of-the-art CT scanner, renovate facilities for the CT scanner suite, while also ensuring other medical equipment is not compromised. The Port Perry Hospital Foundation had launched the Here For You campaign in early March 2021. The press release explained the campaign was projected to run until late 2022. We have been overwhelmed with our community's support, Port Perry Hospital Foundation CEO Rachel Agnaluzzi shared in a statement. The generosity, which began with the auxiliary to Lakeridge Health Port Perry and other leading donors a year ago, has never lost momentum. Community groups, local businesses, and individuals have all stepped up, doing what they can. Over the holidays, donations of all sizes continued to add up, bringing us over our campaign goal and well ahead of schedule. This campaign has inspired so many to get involved, and we are so grateful to everyone who has contributed. However, the COVID-19 pandemic has impacted the project's timeline for the next steps. The strain of the COVID-19 Omicron variant is currently demanding the full attention to be placed on our hospital and its people, temporarily pausing the CT project. But Lakeridge Health's Port Perry CT project team remains committed, projecting mid-2022 installation notwithstanding further forces beyond their control. Lakeridge Health updated wiring and electrical at Port Perry Hospital while it was closed following the fire in 2017. Making the installation of a CT scanner possible, the press release explained.
Brock changes the speed limit and considers changing several others. Dan Kearns, Local Journalism Initiative Reporter for The Standard. Brock. A change to the speed limit request has led Brock Council to look at speeds on all of the township's gravel roads. At a meeting on Monday, January 24th, councillors voted to direct staff to reduce the speed limit on Concession 10, Brock, between Highway 12 and Regional Road 23, Lakewood Road, to 60 km per hour, and to have staff investigate and report back on the feasibility of reducing the speed limit on all gravel roads within the municipality to 60 km per hour. A report from the Director of Public Works, Paul Lagrandeur, explained the township has had several requests from members of the public to have speed limits reduced on both gravel and double-surfaced roads in the rural areas. These requests have been considered on a requested basis, and in most cases approvals have been adopted and bylaws passed and implemented, the report added. Ward 4 Councillor Kriya Pettingill discussed how lowering speed limits can impact climate change. When you drive more slowly, you use less fuel. This is something we really should discuss. Brock Township is filled with big pickup trucks which drive very quickly. Even if you are driving a small car and you drive fast, you are using way more fuel to get there, she stated. Regional Councillor Ted Smith said there's a diversity of vehicles using the township's roads. Cars, trucks, lots of farm equipment, people riding horses, and bicycles and walking, Regional Councillor Ted Smith said. There's a lot of people on the roads, much more than there used to be, and I think it's a good move to take it to 60.
Silverlight Senior Services is seeing increased demand. Dan Kearns, Local Journalism Initiative Reporter for The Standard. North Durham, Kawartha Lakes. Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, Silverlight Senior Services has seen an increased need for the services they offer. Families don't want to put their loved ones into long-term care. They want to keep them at home. So that's why my services have increased, business owner Tammy Adams told The Standard. Some of the services the business offers to seniors in Lindsay, Port Perry, Uxbridge, and the surrounding areas include taking them to medical appointments or out grocery shopping, helping them with linen changes and laundry, and driving them to the airport. They've also recently added personal support worker PSW services. The business's website describes how Silverlights helps its clients. Silverlight Senior Services was created to help the seniors of Kawartha Lakes and Durham regions maintain their independence by offering a trusted companion to give you a hand for the things you need. With a focus on companionship and accompanying clients to appointments, errands, and getting groceries, Silverlights provides the highest level of quality service. Whether you're with us one time, weekly, or with a friend, we will help you live your best quality of life. There's also been a change to help families afford services. I was always approved for the Veterans Association benefit plan. I've also been approved for a lot of other ones like Green Shield. There's a list of them now, which is new, so the families don't have to fork out all of the money. It can go through the benefits now, Mrs. Adams said. However, the business has recently struggled to access COVID-19 rapid tests. I can't get a hold of them, and yet I'm an essential service. With the government, I can't get any of them from them, Mrs. Adams explained. They've said they are not taking any more applications right now. I guess they're so busy. But I have tried everywhere. You know, the most important thing about that is, I like to have my staff checked at least 2 times a week. I want to make sure they're all clear before they go into a client's home. As Mrs. Adams has witnessed, this pandemic has been hard on seniors. I've seen a lot of loneliness, she shared. Their families either don't live around the area, so they never get to see them, or some of my clients just don't have family. But I see a difference in them when they are provided with these services. Their personality comes back, having someone there all the time. They look forward to it. For more information on Silverlights, such as the full list of services they offer, go online to silverlightsseniorservices.com or call 705-308-1940.
Staying open. I'm sure most of us would prefer the economy and our society stay open. No more yo-yo effect from closing of public spaces or the redirecting or special procedures to function under COVID changes. When will all this be done and past, finally? This desire flows through the minds of most of us daily. Certainly, we are all in this together, but what it feels like for many is, this effect doesn't matter. But there is an opportunity being missed in all this melancholy colic. When we are watching so many around us going through similar personal stresses, they can seem magnified. There is a small solace in knowing that it's not of our making, yet that doesn't eliminate outer stresses or inner concerns. With a problem en masse, there seems little encouragement from the together thing, at least for addressing our personal insecurities. This can seem to justify poor behavior. Does this togetherness prevent job loss due to business slowdowns and closures? Does it change the minds of greedy residential landlords so the many who are homeless can gain a warm, safe place to live? Mostly not. Does it allow those who are unvaccinated, which incidentally needs no defending, to feel accepted by others when they are reacting negatively? No. So what good is it to be connected with others during a collective, unpleasant, prolonged experience? Let's examine this. Firstly, shouldn't being in it together teach overreactionary people to accept the pro-choice of others and prevent the labeling of them as paranoid or anti-vax? Meaning, my body, my choice not to be vaccinated. These people have a principal belief, a preconceived established value. So, it is the way they live when circumstances confront. It's always been the mark of a stable segment of society, reinforcing stability at large. This can put the thinking mind at ease regarding people who choose and maintain a choice. Yet, this is becoming an excuse for a new type of prejudice in a province where we assert we are working hard against that. By the simple order of things, reacting is not original thought, but a knee-jerk response to stimuli, so it is secondary. This implies the stimulus is compelling their activity. So, I would recommend we keep on track, stay open to difference, and allow the choice of others. With so many taking vaccinations and recommended booster shots, this should have bred a sense of security and a protection for those who have taken them. So why are so many carrying an emotional uneasiness? I believe there is something more needed to impart a sense of peace in all of this. Secondly, the media, by and large, have collaboratively propagated this new type of prejudice, tossing around the irresponsible label with disregard for the lives becoming targeted by this promotion. I know of one account locally where an individual, after pre-ordering a meal, went to pick it up. They were unvaccinated, but were wearing an appropriate mask in the right manner. Yet without any vaccination passport, they were threatened with physical violence by one of the employees there. This employee, misreading the recommendations, felt empowered to oppose those who didn't show proof of vaccination. It didn't stop there. They proceeded to yell at the customer, threatening them with physical violence, including tossing them bodily out of the establishment. This may go further than most, but it is symptomatic of the building stress people carry. I don't travel in the extreme population like I used to, yet I have still been present when this attitude has been shared in smaller circles. Have you ever experienced someone being upset about something who took it out on you when you had nothing to do with it? I'm sure everyone is recalling a sense of injustice right now. What about times you may have done the same? It can even seem unconnected to what one is struggling with. This is known as an emotional trigger. It's a psychological term for anxious emotion building below the surface for a long time. Unidentified, it comes out when something is perceived as similar to what caused the emotional harm in the first place. As Shakespeare wrote, the truth will always out. That's from The Merchant of Venice, Act 2, Scene 2. This says we can never permanently bury feelings. They will always express themselves one way or another. It's the idea we need honesty, especially within ourselves. So, if we don't deal with our stuff, it will dump on others around and cause us to behave ugly socially. The Bible teaches in Romans 12:18, as far as it is possible for you, be at peace with all men, people. That's from the Bible in Basic English. It's important we reflect on what's bouncing around in there. So we learn about ourselves. Then, it's important to find a trusted, level-headed friend for a confidant to bounce things off. If you can't, remember that's what family is for. If that's a no, there are professionals you can search out. Better a moment and manner we choose than in an unexpected confrontation, wounding others. If you are a Christian, you have the added advantage of being honest with God, who has removed judgment for those who put their trust in Christ's sacrifice. The main thing is to admit what's bothering you, yield to change, and stay open to the truth on an ongoing basis. Staying open, when life seems to be conspiring against peace and security, leads to the building of both inwardly. If the truth will always out, then growing in personal inner peace by facing truth will work its way through you to touch lives around. This, in general, is the purpose of every life in all our various flavors. So, being in this together can be a good thing. Let's stay open and let it flow.
The Standard Podcast was produced by Greenstream Studio for the Standard newspaper.